What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Trey, and as usual, hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. And as you see, we got my guys here, Seabass and Freddie. What's good, my boys? How's everything with you?
What's good?
Knicks
What's
in
good?
five. Knicks in five. We won the draft as well. Knicks
I
in
mean,
five.
y'all got out in five, right? On the out in five, or I don't know. I forget, Freddie. I just
Stop bringing
remember
up old stuff. Knicks in five. We won the draft.
I just remember y'all lost. Transition actually to the off season too. We did have a couple of trades that happened. Um, the Celtics trade, fellas. How do y'all feel about Kristaps Porzingis on the team? In addition to losing Marcus Smart, Seabass, we'll start with you.
Okay. I think it's a win-win for the Celtics. They get rid of their worst of their three guards, in my opinion. Like I do. I mean, he's probably the healthiest, but like when he's on the court, he's not the defensive player he was with Ime. He's not. For some reason, he's always the one taking the shots that matter, which I don't like. So for me, they lose a good like that's it's tough to end the era. Like that's officially the end of the Brad Stevens. You know what I'm saying? Like the early young Celtics. And now I think they get back KP, who's only there for a year. So it's like he gets injured. All right, it's not like you're paying on for him going forward. Then you got somebody who can also help Horford play less. He can shoot like Horford, and he can also protect the rim like Robert. So you kind of get insurance for both of them. And then you get 2 first-round picks back when they had none. So I feel like they won.
Do you? Okay. Freddie, let me ask you this: do you feel like the Porzingis acquisition will work out? Do you feel like he can play well with this team? Because again, like Seabass pointed out, he's like insurance, but at the same time, you starting him. So and he can do he can do what Al did back in the day, give you a 20 ball real quick, nice defense under the rim, about 8 to 10 rebounds, give or take. That's not bad, and he can stretch the flow out too. So it's not like he got to battle in the paint all the time. So now JB and JT can drive a little more, which Reese always be bitching and complaining about. So again, Freddie, do you think it's gonna work?
Well, the fact they got 2 first-round picks out of this is crazy.
That's what I'm
Brad
saying.
It's a nice
Stevens,
haul.
man.
It's a nice haul.
Jesus Christ.
Nice haul.
But yeah, I think this man. Listen, I think Boston. Most people say they need to get a guy that's going to slow the game down to end. I think Boston got exactly what I feel like they've needed over the past few
Yep.
years.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I've been arguing with Reese about this for probably a year or so now, easily that Rob Williams is like 6'7", 6'8". Okay. He's a big, I mean, I get it, he can touch shots, he'll rebound and all that, but that can only go so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
Porzingis is a 7'2" guy that can score on all three levels,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't need you to give him the ball, he'll get his own bucket. And even when watching him in Washington this year,
Mm-hmm.
he seemed like he became a more all-around player. A little bit better playmaking ability, right? Just overall stronger. He's been in the gym stronger as well.
More
I've
dependable.
watched him literally 30 and 12 and 34 and like just games like that. With him as a third option, I think the last time Porzingis has been a third option was his first year with the Knicks, maybe second year with the Knicks, maybe, if ever.
I was about to say, has he?
He's gonna be. Yeah, I must say I don't know if he's ever even been one.
Yeah.
You know, he put up great numbers this year. I think this is gonna be amazing for Boston, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
now you don't have to worry about Al Horford maybe or maybe not feeling well, right? He's on the back. He's 40 years old. You got a 28-year-old, whatever he is, guy coming in now to pair with JB and JT. You still got Derek White, still got Brogdon. I don't know if Gallinari's coming back, but man, I think this is. I don't think people is giving this enough recognition, enough attention, man. I feel like this made Boston as good as they will be in the JT-JB era.
Yeah. I also think too, people sleeping on this fact, and I said this on AMP also. It's putting more onus on JB and JT to be leaders now. You can rely on someone like a Marcus Smart and Al Horford to be that leader, that glue guy in the locker room. But now Marcus Smart's home, so you kind of have to be the person to say, "Hey, we're messing up, fellas. Like we got to stop playing bad or whatever the case may be. You got to be the people to rattle your team or to rein your team in." So I'm looking for more leadership from JB and JT, and I think letting go of someone like Marcus Smart is important for their development as players. So I mean, we got to have good vets. KP's been in the league for a little bit, so I think his journey is interesting. You might be able to learn some stuff from him, but
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't shake the boat for the Celtics. So I think, excuse me, I think it's a good fit personally. I think
Yeah.
it's a good fit. Yeah. Um,
And they were trying to get rid of Brogdon first too, which I felt very interesting.
that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Clearly, they wanted to get that trade done because they're like, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that might be telling though, because he could be injured, and they might not like his injury. Like, and they're like, bro has
yeah,
had too many injury histories. Like, I don't know how I feel about that though. Speaking of injury history, though, fellas, CP3 is on the Warriors. Like, what the hell? Like, that don't make no sense until I think about it though. And look, hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. CP3, right, with a nice young gun has done wonders. Like OKC, although
Yep.
A and D book might be a little different, right? But he gonna have a gang of young boys on this Warriors team. So you might have two starting five the way CP3 run with young boys. So can we actually see Chris Paul remain on the Warriors for the rest of the season? Because I thought they were just gonna possibly buy him out, stretch the contract out for about like 5 seasons. Now you give him 3 years per year, or trade him. But now it seems like they might keep him though. So like, what's y'all thoughts? Freddie, we'll start with you.
well, they got rid of Jordan Poole, so that's the win right there in itself. But I mean, come on now.
I wasn't even trying to harp on Jordan. I was trying to save him for the Wizards. Damn, shots fired. Jordan, as you
Hey,
can see,
man.
there was
And I
not
think
good.
he'll be.
I see you
I
at
think
Rose
he'll
Bar.
be fine.
Not bad.
I think he'll be fine in Washington, but he didn't need to be there anymore. I don't. Whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man. Listen, you get Chris Paul. I don't think it. I'm not gonna say it doesn't make sense because anytime you get Chris Paul, you become a better team. At the end of the day, basketball is basketball, and Chris Paul makes every
Mm-hmm.
basketball team he plays for better. But I don't know if I would have worried about doing that. I think Steph is at a point to where he's very comfortable now
Mhm.
running the offense all the time. In fact, I think he's as dangerous as he's ever been because he now brings the ball down a lot more than he did prior to his earlier peak years. Like, I mean, Chris Paul, sure, whatever. I don't know. I just would have traded and went out and got a legit Porzingis or somebody like that.
That's fair. It would have been interesting if they could have gotten Porzingis on this team. Like
Yeah.
that would have been a little interesting. I ain't gonna hold you. Now we talking about a legit 7 footer who can score. Like that's kind of last time they had that was a brother named Kevin Durant. And I will say this too. KP does qualify as an international big. So that is the wave in the NBA for winning
Mm-hmm.
championships nowadays. If you have an international big, you golden. I don't know what to tell you. It's a nice little trend right now. But so it sounds like maybe the CP acquisition ain't bad. It's just not what you were looking for. It's not what you
Yeah,
wanted
just
from the
like
Warriors. Okay,
yeah.
okay. Is there then is there any good news for the Wizards like with this acquisition of Jordan Poole? Because Freddie took a shot directly at Jordan Poole when I was trying to talk about Chris Paul. So I feel like I'm gonna save you for last, Freddie, because you got a lot of animosity. I'm gonna let you simmer down first. Woosah, woosah. But like Seabass, like is there any good that's gonna come out of Jordan Poole going to the Wizards outside of the Rose Bar memes?
Okay. I'm gonna touch on the Chris Paul thing real quick. It'll only work if they
Okay,
use him right, and I think if they use him as a 6 man just to run with the young guns, I think that'll work. Kind of like what Sean Livingston did back in the day, and like Barbosa, where they just put him with the second
Barbosa.
unit, let him do his thing. Now, if they try to start him, it's not gonna work because that his play style, I just don't think works with them. But if they use him just strictly on the bench and then close some games here and there, and he's okay with sitting on the bench other games to close, yeah, I think it'll work out fine.
yeah.
But with the Wizards, I think, man, he could give them 25 a game. Poole can give him 25 a game. He has Tyus Jones as his point guard. That's one of my favorite point guards in the league. Like he's the leader in assist to turnover ratio in like the past 2-3 seasons. So
Yeah.
he doesn't have to do any playmaking. He just has to get a bucket, which he's good at that. So give him 20 shots a game. He's gonna score 25 to 30 a game. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he was like top 5 in scoring, to be honest.
Mm.
Will it translate to a lot of wins? Probably not. Will they trade Tyus halfway through for some picks? Probably. So
which
gonna
would be
say,
crazy.
he's gonna
Yeah.
give you 25 a game is my prediction, which I'm cool with that.
I think because of the volume, yeah, he can get that
Yeah.
number. My thing is this though. I don't know if Jordan Poole needs to be a two guard. Like for me, he needs to have the ball in his hands. But the problem is Tyus is a much better playmaker. Like when
Hmm.
Jordan Poole was effective on the Warriors, it was when Steph Curry was out. And Jordan Poole was able to do
Hmm.
what he did with Clay as the two, and Clay's the actual defender. Maybe not as good of a defender as he was
Yeah.
back in the day, but Jordan Poole's not a defender at all. So he needs a solid defensive minded guard who can get a little bucket on his own too. But that's what I don't I it's tough. Like Tyus might have to come off the bench in order for Jordan Poole really to get saucy and like unlock his
Yeah.
actual potential. Because again, I personally think it's either Jordan Poole as a starter or Jordan Poole as a sixth man. That's just me though. Like that ultimate spark plug that can come in. But if he's not hot though, what else is he doing for me? Because the assists, he had his moments, but they weren't consistent enough. Um, I don't know, man. Like maybe it was just because he was on the Warriors, and you had the whole situation with
Yeah,
Draymond.
that's
Maybe
what.
that did it, but yeah, he gotta earn a few things back for me now. I can't slide him in that two guard spot. I don't know. I feel like that might have just been on the Warriors though. I feel like that might have just been on the Warriors. I don't know. Um, I'm sorry. I've got to ask you guys this too. What were you about to say, Seabass?
Oh, so I was just saying what I was thinking is like with Poole,
Mm,
I think it's just a lot. What he learned a lot with the Warriors is like how to play off ball. Because if you think with him, when Steph was off the court, he was like the primary playmaker, but he still was doing a lot of kicking ahead, chasing down all the Draymond stuff.
mm.
So I think if he brings that, and then what if he does it with Koulibaly? I can't say his name.
Cool, Bali.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? What if
Yeah.
he teaches
Mhm.
him how to do all that handoff stuff? You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
I do think, to your point, I do think Tyus will be moved by middle of the year to a playoff team for some picks. So I think that's when
Championship
Jordan
contender.
Poole gets his playmaking experience.
I hope so, because yeah, like Tyus needs to be on a playoff team. Like you say, he's
Yeah,
led the league in assist to turnover.
Phoenix Suns, that's where he needs to be. But
Yeah,
we'll wait to see if that happens.
and I don't know if y'all noticed, ladies and gentlemen, I don't get to do this so often, but he did bring me this championship. Thank you, Tyus. I appreciate it. Yeah, my boy.
Hey,
2016.
Ty is tough, man. I
You're
fuck with him.
right. Not often, but very often.
Yeah, no, he's tough. He's tough. Um, fellas, the biggest trade though I think that happened as of now at least is I think the Suns getting Bradley Beal. Um, how do we feel about how do we ultimately feel about that, Freddie? We can start with you. What's your takes on the Suns trade? Was it good enough? Did they mess up?
I mean, let's give James Jones credit once again for
Hmm.
being low key great at his job.
Hmm.
Honestly, man, like he keeps pulling all these. He got Katie, and then he gets Bradley Bill, taking pieces off the board. Overall, on as far as on court, I just found out or just saw that they're gonna keep Aiden.
Yeah,
You got
yeah.
Hmm.
four, man, and I don't know what's the Okogie and
Okay,
Torrey
yeah.
Craig. I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
what they're.
I don't know what they're doing.
They
Yeah,
only
Yeah,
got they only got
okay.
I think 6 players on contract. It's
yeah,
the main
And they got
core,
21 million.
Campaign, and Isaiah Todd.
yeah.
Okay,
I
so they
think
got
Wainwright's up
21
there.
million. They got to spread across.
They gotta make a lot
Oh,
of
so
things
yeah,
better.
yeah. Yeah. From what I heard, if they wanted to bring their exact same group of role players back, they would be able to because of like I don't know if it was bird rights or what.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, yeah, they gotta fill the roster out. But ultimately, again, Devin Booker probably have the basketball in his hands more. Bradley Bill being a number 3 option now. When have we ever seen that? DeAndre Ayton no longer needing to be that third option. Now it could be a fourth option. I think that's going to help him as well. Uh, they can be scary. Do I think they'll win a championship? No. If I'm being honest, no.
Mhm.
But I think they'll be fun to watch for sure, and I think they'll be a scary team.
Okay,
But
okay.
overall, a great trade for them.
Mm. I I don't think they're definitive champions off this trade.
Hmm.
I see, like you said, you got to have more roster spots filled. Like if they can get someone like an Andre Drummond for the low, that's a big right there who can get you a good amount of rebounds. Like the man, can get you so many rebounds, and he's a big body. So if you go up against a Jokic, you can throw him on there, still run
There
the
you go.
zone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like it depends on what they do get, but they have a great foundation to work with. I'm curious too on how Aiton actually develops. Seabass, what's your take on the Suns? You're a little closer to them than we are, so
Um, so I like the move because you basically trade. You got Brad Beal for nothing.
mhm.
I mean, to be honest, it's like Landry Shamet and 2 second rounders, basically for nothing. So I mean, you have to do it. I just don't like the fact they're not going to trade Aiton because their depth is going to be terrible. Like they gotta hope these vets are like truly bought into getting a championship because they can't really pay no one after Aiton. Like I would trade Aiton and get like a Capella and a Bogdanovich or something back or something like that.
I
But
might look at Miles Turner and something.
yeah,
Yeah,
Miles Turner, Buddy, like
yeah,
something to give me like a good 5, 6 players to play with, but
I can see that too.
they can't guard
Miles
nobody
Turner is
either,
better than
so
him,
I'm
though. I don't
scared.
know if
I don't
Indiana
know.
do that trade.
But Indiana's thinking at it from this standpoint
Well,
too,
yeah.
trying to pair it up with Tyrese and like Aiton's younger than
Mhm.
Turner, so you can think if you think about it from that vantage point, and he also
Hmm.
gets you
Yeah.
about 18 and 10. Miles Turner do about the same thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
New environment,
Yeah. I mean, if they
he
could
might
get
go
that,
down.
that'll be a steal. Yeah.
That'd be a solid little
That'll
pairing
be a
right there.
steal.
And you get pieces with that too, because again, they're trying. You got to make the contracts work. So Aiden gets
Exactly.
Right.
more than
And they
Turner.
need some defense, man. They need some type of defense because no disrespect, KD can't be guarding the best
I don't
offensive
want them
player
to
every
all the
night,
time. Yeah,
man.
nah, I don't want them to either. But then
Yeah.
who is that? Like Torrey Craig? Because I don't even think Josh Okogie was overly effective. I think bringing back Torrey Craig is essential, but he needs
Yeah,
to take a
Yeah.
mean pay cut too, though. Like that
exactly.
could be a little tricky. He
Yeah.
might want to go to another team, like the Denver Nuggets could use him. Who knows? Like
Who
He
knows? They
earned
might be
him.
one of them
He
teams that
well, he came
holler
from
at
Denver
PJ
as
Tucker.
well.
that's why I brought it
Yeah.
up.
Torrey came from Denver.
It'd be a
He never.
boomerang. So
Yep.
He made money and lost it right back within the span of 2 series, which was crazy. Went from averaging like 16 per game to playing, I think, Denver when he went to averaging like 4 or something.
yeah,
So yeah, I think his stock is, thankfully to his bad series, they may be able to bring him back on a low now.
I hope
Hmm.
so. I hope so. They're gonna need a lot of a lot of work. But I do at least like the
Absolutely.
fact that they're going to be able to have at minimum one fringe all star on the flow. Because you got
At
to
all
think
times,
like
yeah.
out of those four players, one of them is going to be on the floor playing with everybody else, so it's not going to be overly stagnant, right? So
Yeah.
Probably
they just
two,
got to
yeah.
figure out like when to sub people out, what's the best matchup to do. And I think as long as Aiton's just screening and rolling, that team's gonna be so hard to stop because you got Brad Bill, D Book, KD, and Aiton setting screens like, and you got somebody else just trying to get the extra rebound too and doing the hustle plays. That's gonna be tough to stop. Like when you on.
Yep. And honestly, in terms of like offensive fit, it's really good because the last time Beal shot 40% was with John
John
Wall.
Wall.
So now he
Yeah.
has freaking Booker taking pressure and KD taking pressure. Watch him go back up to that 40% shooting. He loves to run off screens and
Absolutely.
everything. That's how he started. So
Facts.
I
Nah,
wonder if they could get Javon Carter in there. What it will cost them to get Javon Carter. What's going to be
I,
yeah,
his
that would be a good.
market's
I'd
going to
like
look
that
like.
fit too.
I,
PJ
94
Tucker would fit
feet
perfectly there.
lockdown. Yeah, absolutely. But Javon
DJ would be
Carter,
ideal as
94
well.
foot lockdown point guard who can make shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be
Yeah,
special.
PJ would be tough. PJ would be tough. But now, fellas, I
There you go.
greatly appreciate that though. We will definitely get this back rolling. I've been on AMP lately, doing a couple shows, trying to
Yep.
figure out how to do that seamlessly. Still trying to figure things out. So I took a little hiatus from these videos. These don't be getting a little long in terms of editing. I swear to right now. But we're gonna get back to it though. So I'm gonna bring y'all boys back on. Do y'all have anything y'all want to say before we close up shop?
Knicks in 5.
Saints winning the Super Bowl. You see the
You
shirt?
said Panthers winning the Super Bowl. I appreciate that support there, Seabass. I appreciate that support, baby. Always one love, one love.
Y'all be great, man.
Likewise,
Yes, sir.
likewise.
All right, fellas.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
All
take
right.
care.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I did not know you guys were still here. As you can see, we're at the back end of the show. No pun intended, but look, hope you all enjoyed it. And before you go, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow the IG account. Share the content to anybody who's anybody. And most importantly, leave your thoughts and comments below. But I gotta go back and play Buddy in 2K, so let me unmute him real quick. Excuse me. Hey, boss, I'm back. Nah, you better catch this word. You know we get buckets around here, too.